As you go deeper into the expansive ocean, the light begins to fade, the waters darken, the pressure increases, temperatures become shockingly low, and the oxygen concentration keeps dropping to unfathomable levels. As such, these dark depths have become out of bounds for most creatures. But under these extreme conditions, there still exists life. As hard as it is to understand, there are deep-sea creatures that are surprisingly equipped to survive in these conditions. Among these creatures cruising in these depths, it's one-of-its-kind cephalopods, the giant vampire squid. But how has the vampire squid been able to survive the harsh, unforgiving conditions of the deep dark sea? Well, stick around as we piece together the puzzle of the insane biology of the giant vampire squid. At 600 to 900 meters below the surface of tropical and temperate oceans, also known as the oxygen minimum level, is where you will find the last living member of the Vampiroteuthis species, the Vampiroteuthis infernalis. This scientific name, when translated, means the vampire squid from hell. A vampire squid can grow up to 30 centimeters long and can weigh as much as 1 pound. For reference, it is the size of a football. It has a pair of fins that it uses for movement, 8 arms, and webbing between the arms to form a cape. The appearance in itself is quite confusing, and it is part of the reason why it is ruled out as neither a true squid nor a true octopus. The vampire squid has icy blue eyes that can be as large as 1 inch in diameter, making them the largest eyes of all living creatures in relation to their body size. These eyes enable it to absorb as much light as possible. It also possesses a reddish rust color that makes it almost invisible in the already dark ocean. The tip of every arm of the vampire squid has light-producing organs known as photophores, which produce bright blue luminescence that makes it glow for up to 10 minutes, thereby confusing its predators. It is also equipped with 2 fine filaments that can extend up to 8 times the length of the vampire squid. These filaments have tiny hairs and sensory nerves that allow the vampire squid to sense the surroundings and even detect food. All these features put together are the reason why it is known as the vampire squid. With a name like that, it is understandably hard to believe that this creature is pretty chill. Contrary to its scary name and gothic appearance, the vampire squid is not a bloodsucker, but is in fact a gentle giant that does not eat any living creatures. Instead, it is the only cephalopod that is a scavenger. In the twilight zone of the ocean, there isn't much on the menu, so using its long filaments, the vampire squid feeds on marine snow. Marine snow? What is marine snow, one might ask? Well, it is nothing close to the pleasant picture that may have come to mind. The marine snow is made up of particles of dead animals, any rotting matter, snot, and poop. In simple terms, detritus. It may sound disgusting, but to the vampire squid, it's a grand banquet. This detritus gently drops from the ocean surface into the deep sea, and under the illumination of the submarine headlights, it appears as underwater snowfall, hence the name marine snow. Through their significantly huge eyes, they can see the larger particles of the marine snow, which makes their feeding easier. At the distal end of each arm, there are suckers. These suckers produce mucus that enwraps the food particles, creating what some would refer to as marine snow mucus dumplings. This dumpling is then moved to the mouth, which is located underneath the mantle. To survive these ocean depths where food is scarce and there is little to no light, the vampire squid has to preserve most of its energy. This is done with the help of its slow metabolism, which is mostly attributed to the cold environment the vampire squid dwells in, thanks to its gelatinous, dense body and the presence of statoliths, also known as balancing stones. The vampire squid is neutrally and naturally buoyant, which simply means that it won't use as much energy floating and cruising through. To further build on this, vampire squids just drift on ocean currents as opposed to actively swimming through the deep sea. However, despite having weak muscles in case of danger, it can swim fast by use of jet propulsion. It can attain speeds of up to 2 body lengths per second, but it can't maintain this speed for long. The vampire squid happens to be one of the few cephalopods that can survive at depths where the ocean concentration is less than 5%, as most of them can't even go anywhere near areas whose oxygen concentration is less than 50%. To survive these odd oxygen levels, vampire squids are equipped with large gills that increase the surface area to allow more absorption of oxygen. Their blood also has hemocyanin, a pigment that carries oxygen, which is no new feature to most cephalopods, but the difference is the hemocyanin in vampire squids has a higher affinity of oxygen than all other known cephalopod species. While most creatures cannot survive in this extreme environment, it doesn't mean that there aren't any predators. They're there, but only a handful. Vampire squids are often hunted by sharks, whales, sea lions, and other cephalopods. When faced with any of these predators, the vampire squid inverts its webbed arms, turning itself inside out to form a cloak covering its mantle and exposing spiky fleshy appendages known as cirri, a defense mechanism that scientists refer to as the pineapple pose. The inside part of the mantle is usually dark, making it invisible in the already light missing part of the ocean. While this pose is intimidating to some predators, the vampire squid is harmless in this position. Yes, those spikes are just for show, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you bluff your way out of danger. But being the unique cephalopod that it is, the vampire squid has another mode of defense up its sleeve. It does not change its color or produce ink to keep off predators, as it really wouldn't work in these sunless depths. Instead, it ejects a bioluminescent mucus cloud that distracts its predator, giving a narrow chance of escape. The predator is left glowing bright enough to attract its predators. They, however, do not use this defense mechanism unless they desperately need to, because it takes a high metabolic toll on them. In the unfortunate event where the tip of the vampire squid arm is bitten off or broken, there isn't any cause for worry, as the limb will regenerate. This deep-sea creature is a living fossil that is said to have undergone little change in the 300 million years of its existence. Although their actual lifespan is not known, the adult stage alone is around 8 years, and vampire squids can reach sexual maturity at 2 years. While most cephalopods reproduce once and then die, the vampire squid reproduces multiple times, thus outliving its peers. They, however, have no definite breeding season, but eggs are released all year long. Because they are naturally rare creatures, male and female vampire squids do not bump into each other often. Therefore, during reproduction, male vampire squids transfer a sperm packet to the female using the funnel. Yes, the same funnel it uses for respiration and movement. The female vampire squid then stores the sperm packet in special pouches for as long as it needs. When she is ready, she uses the sperms to fertilize the eggs. After fertilization, the female vampire squid releases the eggs into the water column. Not all eggs are released, just a few at a time. During spawning, only a little amount of energy is used. The eggs will then develop into a larva consisting of a head and short arms. During this stage, they mostly survive on the yolk sac. As a hatchling, the vampire squid has only one pair of swimming fins. Once it reaches the juvenile stage, it grows another pair of fins, making a total of 4 fins on the mantle. When the second pair of fins has reached its full size and the mantle is between 15 to 25 centimeters long, the first pair of fins is reabsorbed into the body as it matures into an adult. This one-of-a-kind metamorphosis is only found in the vampire squid. Its unique appearance at every stage of development has left a lot of confusion among scientists, with some of them thinking that there are at least 10 different species of vampire squids. Even though the baby vampire squids have to learn to defend themselves, feed themselves, cruise through the rough ocean currents, and learn the nitty-gritty of life in the deep, dark ocean, neither the male nor the female vampire squid is left to guard the eggs or the hatchlings. Every vampire squid fights for its survival, from birth till its death.